Ben Horowitz, you were recently referred to as the CEO Whisperer. Is your new book, The Hard Thing About Hard Things, a way to stop whispering and get the word out more widely?
Yeah, I'm going to step my game up to the CEO shouter. But actually, the reason I wrote the book was when I was CEO, I would have these times where I'd be up at 2 o'clock in the morning and in a cold sweat and trying to figure out why none of the management books that I read were helping me. I was just stuck. And what I came to realize was most of the books that I had read were about, here are all the things that you do to not screw up your company. But once your company is screwed up, you're on your own. And it turns out that the really hard part about running a company is when things go wrong, or when you get in a very emotionally difficult situation. And there wasn't anything for that, so that's kind of what prompted me to write the book.
Well, you've both started and run companies. Which is ultimately harder?
Well, I think that there's no question that running the company you started is the hard thing. Starting a company, not that hard. Running somebody else's company, I think, is probably a little less hard, but running your own company is incredibly emotionally challenging.
And now, as a venture capitalist, you see a lot of ideas, and you back some of the best ideas, Facebook, Twitter. How do you know a winning idea when you encounter one?
Well, it's tricky because basically we're really looking for things that are good ideas but look like bad ideas. Because if it looks like a good idea, then it is probably not innovative and probably not a breakthrough. So if it's obvious to us, then that's usually a bad sign, ironically. And the problem with looking for bad ideas is bad ideas also look like bad ideas. So it is a bit of a trick. But we look for something that's a real breakthrough, that's going to create a way of doing something that's 10 or 100 times better than the old way.
What about in your stable right now? Is there a breakthrough idea which is next on deck, the next Twitter, the next Foursquare? What do you think?
Yeah, well, I think that there's a lot of exciting companies. One of them is a company run by a fellow by the name of Ben Silbermann, who is a great CEO called Pinterest. And he is growing exceptionally fast, and it looks like it's going to be a tremendously good business.
And do you sell Pinterest to someone else, like a WhatsApp sale, or do you sell it as an IPO? How do you know what to sell and what to take public?
Well, that's really a decision that the CEO makes. So, I wouldn't want to say that I make that decision, or I would, certainly make that decision for Ben or anybody else. But I think that the framework that you look at when you make a decision like that is how big is your market? Really, how big is your market? And then are you going to win it? And so a really good example of when not to sell is when a lot of people, I think Yahoo in particular, wanted to acquire Google. But if you looked at Google's market, it was actually ultimately much a bigger market than Yahoo's, and Google was on a very good track to be number one. So it didn't make sense for Google to sell at any price because their ultimate value was going to be bigger than the acquirer's value.
So I asked you how to identify a winning idea, but how do you identify a winning management team? A lot of young entrepreneurs come to you with ideas. You don't know whether or not they're going to be able to grow into managers like Mark Zuckerberg. How do you know who will eventually be not just a person with a great idea, but someone who can eventually run a company?
Yes, so almost nobody comes to us with great management skills when they get there, but the two things that we do look for are leadership capability, and then the second thing is courage. And that combination, if you have it right, you can generally turn into somebody who can run a company, but people don't come as prefab CEOs.
All right. Well, it's a hard thing running a company, and it's a hard thing writing a book. Congratulations on yours.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Appreciate
Ben.
it.
And thank you for watching The Street.